full-time MMA?
MMA.
Nothing
Yeah.
else?
My life, man, yeah.
Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
On the Morning Wood Show with These Nuts, aka Tyron Woodley's badly named podcast, badly named in my opinion. He came out and he was dropping bombs. I want to start listening to this podcast as well. There's a lot of podcasts, and shit. I got all the time in the world at work, but today I'm off of work. So on Tyron Woodley's podcast, he came out and he was talking about how there's already been talk about George St. Pierre possibly, if he wins versus Michael Bisping, calling out Conor McGregor and the Conor McGregor-George St. Pierre super fight. And Tyron Woodley's like, man, hold the fuck on here. Hold the phone. I'm getting sick of this. Tyron Woodley's gonna burst, yo, because he's already had to fight Wonderboy twice and Damian Maia, which, he already wanted a money fight since before that. But he was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep defending my belt and then hopefully it'll be my time for a money fight. He took that route. People were calling him Tyron and saying he was running from Wonderboy and running from Maia, or, all the fun people have had with Tyron Woodley. The only real thing you can say about Tyron Woodley is sometimes he complains. And who doesn't? Luke Rockhold complains, but I guess he's not known as much. But also Tyron Woodley, I guess, has pulled the race card, but Tyron Woodley kind of gets some of the criticism there. Some of it's too much. Like when people say he's running from people, that's fucking completely ridiculous to me. But other than that, sometimes he contradicts himself. You can say he complains too much, what the fuck ever. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But he fought 4 title fights in 12 months, and now George St. Pierre, the former welterweight champion, instead of coming back and fighting the current welterweight champion Tyron Woodley, he's deciding to go up and fight Michael Bisping. So now that's the super fight George St. Pierre's coming back to. And George St. Pierre said if he wins, he's obligated to fight Robert Whittaker. Tyron Woodley has also tried to fight Michael Bisping. He's like, hey, I've got a title. I'll be your super fight. Michael Bisping kind of like, he thought about it, but it's going to be George St. Pierre or the interim champion. So Tyron Woodley missed out on that fucking super fight. Okay, hasn't said much about it. Now Conor McGregor, one of the only other options for a super fight, he's talked about going. He's fought at 170. He hasn't talked much about fighting Woodley or his camp. Now that it is a possibility, Tyron Woodley versus Conor McGregor, all the belts. You know what I'm saying? Conor McGregor might want to come up for the 170-pound belt, but that's not getting talked about. So Tyron Woodley doesn't know if he's getting the Conor super fight. What he's saying is, if George St. Pierre skips my ass for a super fight again, and Conor McGregor skips my ass for a super fight again, I'm taking it as disrespect. George St. Pierre better come out and admit he's just here for the money. I'm going to read what Tyron Woodley has to say. Because I understand what he's saying, but man, I need to see Tyron Woodley's pay-per-view numbers. Is he not a draw? Do people not even tune in to see him lose? Me and Barry Walters were talking about that on the full-time family call. And I thought about it. People do tune in to see people lose, but what if you feel like the guy is not gonna lose? Do you still tune in? Like, even if people hate Tyron Woodley or don't like him, they might tune in if they thought he was gonna lose. But if they feel like he's gonna win, they might just be like, man, I'm not tuning in to watch his boring ass win. You know what I'm saying? That might be how some people feel. I'm not in that camp, so I can't speak for all the people that fucking hate on Tyron Woodley. Every time he says anything. I like Tyron Woodley as a fighter. His last 2 fights weren't the most entertaining fights, but I'm not here just for fucking slugfest and brawls. If you are, I understand, or critique whatever you want. If he was injured in his last fight, which is looking like he was, there's all type of shit you can say. So if you're a hater, you got shit to hate on, and if you don't hate on him, you kind of can see, your way too. With that being said, let's get into what Tyron Woodley had to say, because a lot of people say George St. Pierre and Tyron Woodley, they used to fight at the same time. So why is Tyron Woodley acting like he can beat GSP whenever GSP was the GOAT? Tyron Woodley was fighting. So what the fuck is he talking about? Tyron Woodley's feeling like he's past him. This is what he's had to say. Some guys have medium speed, medium power, good wrestling, good attacks. I've been blessed to have maximum speed, maximum explosion, maximum power, and then Dean Thomas and Duke Rufus has helped me add the other stuff. Economy of motion, knowing when to explode, when not to explode, and how to fight 5 rounds. I don't want them problems, man. He had a chance to fight me and he said no. George has been away for 3 years, almost 4. By the time he gets in there, it's going to be just a few days shy of 4 years, so the sport is caught up. Whatever advantage he had, whatever degree of separation he created by being such a great martial artist, people have played catch up. I think I've surpassed him. He was a person I looked up to, but skill for skill, mindset, explosion, power, wrestling ability, timing, strategy, all those things, I feel like I've surpassed George, and that's why I want to go out there and fight him and prove it. So that's what he's saying, man. That, I feel like George St. Pierre's been out while I've been getting better. I feel like I would smoke George St. Pierre today. I feel like George St. Pierre is fighting Bisping because he doesn't want these problems. He don't want no smoke with me. Conor McGregor, he tried to look me down when I wasn't looking backstage, but he don't want no smoke with me. None of these guys, none of these super fights want no fucking smoke with me. Why doesn't anybody see that? I'm telling you, I feel what he's saying, because I kind of get that feeling a little bit, man. People are kind of, because look, this is how I'll explain it. Look at Michael Bisping, the 185-pound champion. Everybody wants that fucking super fight. I'm talking about the 155-pounders are wanting to come up and fight Bisping in a super fight. 170-pounders want to fight Bisping in a super fight. 185-pounders, 205-pounders, everybody from every division wants to fight Bisping while he's got the title. I don't know if it's because they feel like he's the easiest champion, the easiest super fighter, what. But look at Tyron Woodley. You can't tell me Conor McGregor versus Tyron Woodley isn't a super fight. You can't tell me George St. Pierre versus Tyron Woodley isn't a super fight at this point in their careers. Even if he's not the crossover star, what the fuck ever, Tyron Woodley is a bigger star than a lot of other people in the fucking UFC. I mean, I'm not gonna go the followers route. I don't know how many followers he has, but I would guess it's a lot more than some of these other guys. And that's not everything. But Tyron Woodley is a fucking big name in MMA. He's on Fox. He does comments, all type of shit, man. When you ask a casual fan who's Tyron Woodley, they know. If I brought the microwave in here and I said, you get the point. Casual fans at least know who Tyron Woodley is compared to some of these other guys. So why does everybody want to fight Michael Bisping and nobody wants to fight Woodley? The only people that want to fight Woodley are the guys that feel like that's their only shot at getting, like Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington, these guys coming up that are not in the top 5 yet, and they're like, hey, if none of these other guys want to fight Woodley, fuck it, I'll take that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I might fight. It's a fight. I can win, even though Tyron Woodley's the champion and he's going to be the favorite. They'll take that opportunity. But look at the top 5 of the division. A lot of these guys aren't itching to fight Tyron Woodley. Robbie Lawler's not itching to fight Woodley. Fucking Wonderboy's definitely not itching to fight Woodley again. He wasn't itching to fight Woodley in the rematch. It was like everybody else wanted Woodley to fight wanted Wonderboy in that rematch. Wonderboy wasn't the one fucking, no, I feel like I'm going to whoop his ass the second fight. I'm going to change my, no, that was like everybody else wanted Wonderboy in that fucking rematch. That's how I felt. Who else is in the top? Damian Maia. He don't want too much smoke with Tyron Woodley. He took that fight with Masvidal when he really didn't have to. I mean, he won that fight. It was a split decision, but what happened? Well, he fought Woodley once now, and what happened in that fight? So he's not itching to fight Woodley. Carlos Condit, he's been out a while. He hasn't just been itching to fight Woodley. He probably could have had the fight. So there's people from other divisions, lower divisions, itching to fight Bisping, but a lot of guys just, it doesn't seem like want smoke with Woodley. And I know there's going to be the Woodley haters in the comments that say, oh, people aren't scared of Woodley. Well, Woodley's blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. You're probably just a Tyron Woodley. You probably just don't like the guy. You're not being objective because you're not a fan. You don't like him or whatever. But say what you want. Defending 23 out of 23 takedowns versus Damian Maia is impressive. Fucking fighting 4 title fights in 12 months is impressive, respectable. And Tyron Woodley is saying, so that's disrespect to me. talking about Conor McGregor versus GSP. He said, that's disrespect to me. St. Pierre probably will call out McGregor, but he's going to have to be honest with the fans and say that I'm here for the money. And that's okay. There's no shame in that. Just know I'm going to call him out on that. Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to want to fight the winner of that fight, Bisping or GSP. Then I'm going to want to come back and see all this fresh new talent in the welterweight division, and I'm going to want to show them a lesson too. Hey, I like what he's saying. I like what he's saying right there, because he's saying, I'm not just chasing title. I'm not just chasing super fights, but I'll be goddamned if I don't deserve one. I'll be goddamned if everybody else is talking about moving divisions and going up and down divisions for super fights, but no one wants to fight me, because he's saying he'll go up to 185 for that belt. And then, you know, a lot of these guys like GSP, even if he wins the belt, people are skeptical if he's going to fight in the division and defend in the division. Conor McGregor, people are skeptical. Will he ever defend against the top contenders? If GSP wins, if Bisping wins, what's the critique on Bisping? Is he going to defend against top contenders? Well, you don't have that problem with Tyron Woodley. And he's saying after a super fight, I'll come back down and whip up on these contenders some more like I've been doing. Damian Maia, Wonder Boy twice, Robbie Lawler. I'll smoke these guys if I need to, but it's time for me to get a motherfucking payday. You feel what I'm saying? And I completely understand what he's saying here. To me, this isn't the average, ordinary Tyron Woodley complaining. He's got a fucking point here, man. If GSP, of all people, returns to a division he never wanted to fight at in the past, now he wants to go up to 185, and then he's talking about like somehow skipping the welterweight division again. Then he would have to be skipping with Whitaker, and what is he gonna do? Because somebody was like, oh, why can't Conor, I'm not gonna talk about that because I've already been going too long on this video. But so where are Conor McGregor and GSP gonna fight? That's my question. If Conor McGregor's a 155 pounder and GSP's a 185 pounder, where do you think they'd plan on fighting? In the middle, which is 170. So GSP's not going to return to welterweight to fight the champion. He's going to fight Bisping, and then when he does go to welterweight, it might be against Conor. Come on, man, that would be kind of bullshit if you're the welterweight champion, you got to admit. So Woodley's calling it like he sees it. Andy was on his podcast. It's not like he was just out here campaigning for shit. People always say shit like this on their podcast. That's why, hey, these MMA podcasts are all good. So if you don't listen to them, motherfucking listen to them. With that being said, these are the 3 videos I wanted to pop out before the MMA hour. Now I got to get to that. It is what it is. Let the haters know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. I'm out. The dudes that hate on the full-time family are the type of dudes that finger their booty hole while playing with themselves, thinking about their dad.
Bye, Felicia.